Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Happy Friday. Made it to the end of the week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are well. I hope that your loved ones are well. I hope that indeed you've had a good week and that the weekend is a good one as well. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And yes, we come back here to close out the week with another exciting book, another one that has become staple here on Storytime, and we bring back NIA and the new free library. Yes, is there a free library near you? Is there a library near you? Please do check out the books. Do check out all the different services that they offer, because remember that libraries are more than just books. There's so much more that you can get from them. And if you're maybe your library is like mine near here, where you can borrow tools, to work on your garden, rakes and all kinds of things, and many others too, right? So please do check out those libraries and see what services you can get from there. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime, or indeed direct somebody to go and make use of those services. And remember too that by getting your library card, you're helping support the library. So whether you use it often or not, please get that card, register with your local library, get that card, and because that helps with funding as well. So why not? Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And we know that libraries are an integral part of schools. So I hope that your school, your place of learning, has an amazing library. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. NIA and the new free library, and this one is written by Ian LENDLER and illustrations by Mark PETT. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you indeed for being here, and I hope that you are well. Happy Friday. Yes, it is indeed a Friday. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And this is indeed Storytime, coming to you live from Oakland, California. Thank you for being here. Where are you? How are you doing? And is anybody else with you? Let us know so we can say hi to them as well. Thank you indeed for being here. Beautiful weather being reported out there in Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Kathy, and of course for that weather update. Thank you indeed for being here. I hope that you are well. Luna, sending you love out there in Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And how is it in Kentucky? Sunny and gorgeous. Oh my goodness, love it. Love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining in, and indeed enjoy that lovely weather out there. Thank you for being here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you, Megan, and of course Ari. I hope that you enjoy this last day of school this week, and indeed get into the weekend, rejuvenate, and go again next week. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Glad you're here. Happy Friday to everyone. Is there? We did make it. Woot woot. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining in. And yeah, we did make it to Friday, into the weekend to rejuvenate, to enjoy, to have fun, and of course, back again at it next week. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And of course, talking about libraries, somebody who knows a thing or two about library books is Marietta Apollonia joining us this morning. Say good morning. I hope everyone's summer has been awesome. Still enjoying it, still enjoying it. I hope that you are too, Marietta. Good to see you here. Henry, oh, yes, indeed. Good to see you here, bud. Thank you so much for joining us today on Storytime. Tuning in with friends on Cape Cod. Oh, my goodness. Can I join that vacation? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Good to see you. And of course, you know, too, that Marietta has brought us Jack, the library cat. So if you've not seen it, go to the library today and indeed check that one out. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Nick, I hope that you're doing well too. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Let's get ready for our story for today. Enjoy this one, coming to us from Ian Lendler and Mark PETT, and of course working in conjunction with Chronicle Books of San Francisco, and they bring us NIA and the new free library. Get ready, get comfortable, get cozy. Yes, indeed. Grab that snack to make this story time even better. And I'll be right back after this very short break for more story time. Thank you indeed for being here with us today.
Hi, friends. I'm Marietta Apollonio, the author and illustrator of Jack the Library Cat, and you are watching my family's favorite Story Time with Mr. Limata. Bye!
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Yes, Marietta Apollonia doing amazing work. So do check that one out. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Are you ready for our story today? NIA and the new free library. This one coming to us from Ian Lendler and illustrations by Mark PETT. And we are reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Here we go. Wait a second. So, Henry, does this mean that you're not back in school yet? We've been back 2 weeks. Jealous. Nia and the New Free Library by Ian Lendler and illustrations by Mark PETT. And we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. A big shout out to you, the Chronicle team, Ariel Richardson, of course, Victoria Rock, and the entire Chronicle Books team. Thank you for allowing us to read so many wonderful books here on Storytime over the years. It's been 4+ years of Storytime. For as long as anyone could remember, the Little Town Library stood there. Yeah, it was there so long. Until it was there so long that the people stopped paying attention. The building got old. The librarian retired, and nobody noticed. Until one day, a tornado came and carried the whole thing away. Oh my goodness. For as long as anyone could remember, the Little Town Library stood there. It was there so long that people stopped paying attention. The building got old. The librarian retired, and nobody noticed. Until one day, a tornado came and carried the whole thing away. No. Well, enjoy these last embers of your summer break. I'm so jealous. No one quite knew what to do with the empty space where the library used to be. We need a big skyscraper, said the builder. That will really put this town on the map. We need a parking lot, said the grocer. That would help my business. But Nia had a different idea. We need to rebuild the library, she said. What do you think? What would you have done? Who do you think is right? We need a big skyscraper that will put this town on the map. No, we need a parking lot. Well, the Trader Joe's near me, I think, needs a better parking lot for sure. But Nia had a different idea. We need to rebuild the library. Rebuild it, said the mayor. What's the point? No one uses libraries anymore. Who needs it? Said the distracted mom. My son and I get everything we want online. Rebuild it, said the banker. That costs money and I can't spare a dime. Oh my. I'm on level 10, says the son. We get everything online. But Nia loved the library. She went every week to check out books. She liked cookbooks the best. Her favorite spot to read them was under the tree in front of the library. But it's hard to check out a book from a library that isn't there anymore. That's when Nia had an idea. Oh, was it going to work? What do you think? She got a desk and a chair and a pencil and some paper and a plate of orange slices for energy. Oh, serious work is about to happen. Then she began to write. It took her all day. Oh my. Yeah, Nia had an idea. She got a desk and a chair and a pencil and some paper and a plate of orange slices for energy. Ah, could I have some too, Nia? Then she began to write. It took her all day. Yeah. It took her another day too. From sunup to sundown, it took her a lot of days. Yeah. And at first, no one paid any attention. But pretty soon, she had written an entire wagon full of books. Whoa. Yeah. Sounds like Nia needs a break at Cape Cod, too. It took her a whole day and another day, too. From sunup to sundown, it took her a lot of days. And at first, no one paid any attention. But pretty soon, she had written an entire wagon full of books. Would you like to check out a book? She asked the grocer. How? He said. The library is gone. This is the new free library, said Nia. Oh, the grocer was curious, so he picked up the book. He picked up the book on the top of the pile and began to read. There was an old lady who lived in a shoe. She lived in a shoe? Be you! She handed the grocer. Well, hey, said the grocer, you wrote this wrong. I did, said Nia. Well, maybe you can fix it. She handed the grocer a pencil. The grocer started to write. Oh. Can you imagine living in a shoe? Ooh, ooh. Hey, said the grocer, you wrote this wrong. I did, said Nia. Well, maybe you can fix it. She handed the grocer a pencil. The grocer started to write. Excuse me, said the distracted man. My son's phone just died. Could he look at one of your books? Of course, Nia said. This is the new free library. He can read any book he likes. This one is about Sir Wilbur the bravest, most handsome knight around. This is terrible, said the boy. I can draw better than that. You're probably right, said Nia. Maybe you can fix it. As they made more books, more townspeople became curious and stopped to look. The town's detective saw the crowd forming and came over to see if there was any trouble. She picked up a book. This was my favorite book growing up. And this book is the reason I fell in love with the sea, said the boat captain. Aw. But as they read, everybody noticed mistakes. Said the boat captain. Where the mild things roam? That's not the title. And that's not how Sherlock Holmes solved the crime, said the detective. Every time Nia simply said, "Oh well, maybe you can fix it." And she handed them a pencil. Pretty soon, half the town was writing alongside Nia. Wow, what you think? I've never built a horseshoe before. How are the sketches going? I am on page 10. Work is humming along. Yeah. What book would you have contributed? What story would you have contributed? Everyone discovered the job was a lot harder than it looked. And that's how he solved the crime. You're wrong. That clue was a red herring. There was a fish in the story. I'm confused. No. But they began to remember words and ideas that had inspired them, like hope springing high. Still I rise. Still I will rise. I love poems about bread. That one is not about bread. Pretty soon, there were enormous piles of freshly written books, books of adventure and poetry, and filled with every idea ever imagined. There were so many books that they spilled over the road and stopped the traffic. Whoa, that's a lot of stories. Wow. Said Nia. If only there was some better way to organize them. I've got empty crates we could use as shelves, said the grasser. Oh, there we go. If it rains, the books will get wet, said the builder. I will make some walls and a roof to protect them. And we will need lions, said the banker. A good library has to have lions in front. I will get the two from my back. Yeah. A good library has to have lions in front. I will get the two from my bank. What do you think? Need some kind of statue out there? What's in front of your library? Pretty soon, the entire town was lending a hand. There were people writing and drawing and binding and building and sorting and stacking and slicing oranges for energy. Yeah. What we need is an opening ceremony, said the mayor, of course. Right, Kathy, right? Yeah, that's a really cool book, really cool story. I love this one. We need an opening ceremony, said the mayor. So the mayor fetched her shiniest ribbon and her biggest scissors and her fanciest outfit. And she was just about to cut the ribbon so the crowd could shout, "Hooray!" when Nia said, "Wait, we forgot one thing." "We did?" said the builder. "We did?" said the banker. "We have a library," said Nia, "but we don't have a librarian." What are we gonna do? Oh my, yeah. So the mayor fetched her shiniest ribbon and her biggest scissors and her fanciest outfit. And she was just about to cut the ribbon so the crowd could shout, "Hooray!" when Nia said, "Wait, we forgot one thing." "We did," said the builder. "We did," said the banker. "We have the library," said Nia, "but we don't have a librarian." Oh my goodness. What are we gonna do? Oh, the mayor looked around. "Does anyone here want to be the librarian?" Oh, so many hands, so many volunteers. "Well, that should fix it," said Nia. Good thing we're volunteers, right? Then the mayor cut the ribbon. The whole town shouted, "Hooray!" And Little Town's new free library was open. Oh. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. Everyone crowded into the library to admire what they had accomplished. I decided to go for a classic feel with the watercolors on this one. There were kids in bean bags reading picture books, kids with pencils writing new books. In one corner, there was a knitting class. In another, all the grandparents were learning to use a computer. Everywhere, there were people sitting together, enjoying the cozy quiet of a book-filled place. Well, first, we make sure it's plugged in. Yeah. Well, that computer won't work unless it's plugged in. Or will it? Do you have enough charge? Meanwhile, Nia did what she had wanted to do from the very beginning. She quietly walked straight to her favorite section and checked out her favorite book, How to Make Stone Soup by Nia. Oh, love that one. And she sat down to read in her favorite spot under the library's tree. At least she did. Uh-oh. Yeah. How about you get to do that? Sit in that favorite spot at the library, check out a book. Meanwhile, Nia did what she wanted to do from the very beginning. She quietly walked straight to her favorite section and checked out her favorite book, How to Make Stone Soup by Nia. And she sat down to read in her favorite spot underneath the library's tree. At least she did. Uh-oh. What's about to happen? At least she did. Until the tornado came back. And this time carried the school away. Oh my goodness. Oh, she sighed. The end. Oh my goodness. And that's the end of our story. When we come back from a short break, we get to read the author's note very quickly and, yes, get to see the inspiration, Ian Lendler's inspiration of this amazing story. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. I hope you enjoyed that one. Absolutely appreciate the time that we get to spend together here on Storytime. I'll catch you on the other side of this very short break.
Hola, my name is Shamile Sayed Mendez, and I am the author of Where Are You From, Furia, and many other books for young readers. You're watching Story Time with Mr. Limata.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Storytime coming to you live from Oakland, California. Thank you for being here with us. Whatever you're up to today, I hope that you're enjoying it. I hope that you've enjoyed the week that we've had, but also I hope that you enjoy the weekend coming up. And of course, remember to check in on those loved ones. A little phone call can go a long way. Thank you so much for being here. Our book today was Nia and the New Free Library. That one written by Ian Lendler, illustrations by Mark PETT. And we were reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Let's look at that author's note before we get out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Author's note. When I was little, my grandfather told me that he hated the old library in our town. It was too small, too dark. There wasn't enough room for people to meet. There weren't enough books. He wanted our town to have a library that was open and full of light, where kids could have their own section to make noise, where people could enjoy as many books as they liked. My grandfather was a lawyer, so he got the town to agree to a plan. He got all the permits and raised the money to build it. The day of the opening ceremony for the new library, I was the proudest kid in town. There was a big party, and I went around telling everyone that my grandfather had built the library. Then I met the son of the head librarian. He was walking around telling everyone that his mother had picked all the books on the shelves, the art on the walls, the chairs and tables. He told everyone that his mother had built the library. Then I met the builder's daughter. She told everyone that her dad had built the library. He had poured the cement foundation and laid down all the bricks. That's when I noticed that every brick on the path that led to the entrance of the building was engraved with the name of a family who had donated time, love, and money to get the job done. That's when I realized a library is an expression of a town and all the people who live in it. A library is built by many hands. And hopefully all of you get to enjoy a good library near you. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime, and absolutely appreciate every single minute that we get to spend here together on Storytime. And of course, appreciate you for choosing Storytime. You could have been doing many other things, but you're here with us today, enjoying a story, getting lost in this world of NIA today. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate it. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you indeed for being here one more time. Thank you to everybody that is joining us live. Thank you to you, Kathy, out there in Ohio, where it is beautiful weather today. Enjoy it. I hope that indeed the rest of the weekend has a beautiful weather too. Thank you for being here with us today on Storytime. And of course, Luna out there in Ohio, thank you so much for joining in. And of course, with weather to match out there in Ohio, in Kentucky, thank you for being here. Megan, thank you. Appreciate you. And of course, Ari, I hope that you enjoy this later on. Thank you for being here with us today on Storytime. And yes, indeed, we did make it to Friday. I hope that you've enjoyed the selection this week. And I hope that you join us again next week for more stories. Marietta, thank you for being here. Biggest of hugs to you. Henry, thank you for joining us. Nick and everybody else with you, thank you for joining us here today on Storytime. Enjoy your time out there on Cape Cod. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate it indeed. The library is one of Luna's favorite places to go. Well, Luna, I am with you on that. Me too. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. This has been Storytime today. This has been Storytime for this week. And remember too that you can send us your recommendations, books that you'd love to see and hear read right here on Storytime. Please send those titles my way. Let us know. And of course, if you know any creators out there creating amazing books, please let us know about them as well, so we can try and bring their books here to Storytime. We'll always try to get the permissions of all the books that we love and try and bring them here for you. Thank you indeed for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. This has been Storytime. Biggest of hugs to each one of you. And I'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. Stories, some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of the stories. Read me all of the stories. Some of people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of the stories. Read me all of the stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be